This is an amazing project and I think any classic BMW enthusiast, especially the dual sport guys, there's a modern version, the R80GS, that the guys end up altering to a bit of a Dakar spec, but this is the original one from the 1980. The detail, it's maybe not the most modern of technologies and best of equipment used, but this is exactly what they use, and that's what we're going for. Okay, so we're 2 weeks into the Dakar project now. Started with a 1970s road model frame, twin shocker, exactly as they used in the Dakar. There's nothing for us to refer to other than the model and the photos. We've got the engine shipped, so the engine's on its way now to be rebuilt completely. We've got a mock engine in just a sample, which is exactly the same, but we can get the distances and the placing of the exhaust and the silencers. We've now put the front end on the original Marzocchi shocks. The front wheel has been laced with a new XL 21-inch rim, stainless steel spokes, about to just turn a shaft for the front wheel and then fit the Brembo caliper. We have got 2 shocks on order, so they're being built by MP Custom Valve. I managed to get 2 shocks, obviously not the right ones, so we can at least do the attachment points. Biggest job so far was the subframe. As you can see, it actually looks a bit of a V shape compared to the spine of the bike, and normally you'd think it should be level, but this is actually the way it should be. So once we put the seat on, hopefully it'll all look like it should. At the back we've got this box construction going as well. That's obviously to accommodate the leather toolbox at the back. The subframe had to accommodate the wider shocks as well. That's done. The swing arm extension's done, 100 mm extension on the swing arm. Bracketry's all been tacked in place. The back wheel is the standard R80GS rim. Quite a non-standard thing to do, but standard for this kind of build is to use different lengths of spokes. So the one side is 140 mm, the other side 153, and that gives you the off-center lacing. So the wheel is not actually sitting in line with the hub. It's a bit odd, but that's how it was back in the day. The original bike actually had the road bike silencers on that were shortened quite a bit. They get cut off around about there, and then the end cap goes back on there. The only thing we still have to figure out, and that's why we've put the gearbox back in, is to connect the drive shaft to the gearbox and make sure that the coupler or the angle is not exceeding its limits. We have noticed on the Dakar build, on the photos that we're working off, that they've actually lifted the front of the engine and they've drilled a hole through the frame, which is obviously not the best. As you can see here, we've got a funny triangular piece. It looks like, we're not even sure if it was a modification done during the rally but it's not the neatest of pieces, but there's a triangular pipe which holds the exhaust canister with a spring. So here you can see the triangular piece that we were talking about. That's now been tacked into place. Obviously it's going to get neatened up. It's just to see that it's going to work. It's a standard universal, like a car universal. So that obviously has its limits. So we're worried because of the swing arm extension and the angle of the actual drive shaft, it might foul, it might be a problem. Obviously also the foot peg attachments on the road model, completely different to the scramblers. So Gerald's busy fabricating that now, milling out 2 lowering L brackets to house the foot pegs itself. The detail, it's maybe not the most modern of technologies and best of equipment used, but this is exactly what they use, and that's what we're going for. This is a monster of a bike. It's so high. So just to think that BMW's rider, old Gaston Raya, he couldn't put his feet on the floor. So he basically handled the bike in motion all the time. That's how he pulled away, and that's how he stopped. He used to hop off before it stops. He would put the bike on the center stand, then climb on it, and then stand on the cylinder and then kick it. And how he managed to manipulate the bike like a toy, with 50 liters of fuel and another 10 under the seat. So I mean, that's 60 kilograms sitting quite high up, and to do that in sand and not being able to put your feet down must be quite something. So the engine on this bike is a standard 800cc running 2 32mm Bing carbs, and that's now been changed to 1000cc. So there's a couple of options what you could do to increase the engine capacity, but on this one I just fitted 1000cc off a RS, and then instead of running 32mm Bings, I'm going to run the same 2 carburetors as the classic 90S, which is the only model ever built by BMW with anything other than German carbs. So we're running two 38mm PHM pumpers, Dalorto pumpers on this bike. So fuel consumption might not have to be a consideration. This is Eben, he's the fiberglass guru. So he's just busy laying up half tank here, one of the wall art pieces. The fiberglass parts get popped out of the mold. Here we go, this is one that's fresh out the mold. As you can see, it hasn't even been trimmed yet. And it gets an undercoat, so there's half of a tank. Here's a tank that I just finished in 2K feeder white, or feather white as we know it in English. So this has been painted with a 2K, a solid color, and then once dry, obviously the handpin striping that goes on, that's also done in a 2K that I just mixed with a hardener.
Getting there.